ready to hit the bookwork. First thing we're going to do is we're going to place an image in here, and it's going to be embedded. So we're going to go up here to File, and we're going to say Place Embedded. Our files are on our computer, and we are going to go in here. Mine, and you got to route to yours. Mine is under Desktop, Photoshop, and I am in Lesson 1. We are now looking for this arch.jpg, and I'm going to hit Place. Placing a document allows it to be placed inside. Now, I can't do anything to it until I go up here and I either reject it, which will cancel if I hover over this, and I can cancel it by hitting the escape key, or I can check mark it, and that commits the transformation, or you can hit the enter key, okay, and you'll see those resizing handles disappeared. Now, how do I get those back? Because obviously this isn't covering up the whole thing. I need to be on the Move tool. So you can go over here to the left and click on the Move tool. Clicking on the Move tool puts these sizing handles in here. Now, I do want to resize this, so I'm going to, you can drag from the left, the right, the side, whatever you drag from, it is going to, and I'm going to drag from the side because I kind of want it to resize from the middle. So whatever you do, this is going to keep it proportional, meaning it will not distort your image, okay? If you want to distort your image, you would hold your Shift key down, but I do not. I just want this as big as my screen. You will notice that some of the image goes off of the screen. That's going to be absolutely fine for what we're going to do, okay? So we have it about right here. I'm going to check mark it, and yours should look very similar to mine. Over here, you can now see that I do have that arch over here in the library. So I've already taken you through the touring. Sorry, I might do things slightly out of order compared to the book. Close, but slightly out of order. So we have looked at the Move tool. That allows us to resize. One of the things, if you do not see the Show Transform controls, or when you're on the Move tool, or the Auto Select, make sure that you check mark these, okay? Because otherwise, sometimes they will not show up. So it's very important that you have those check marked. If they start annoying you at any point in time, you can turn them off, but I almost always keep them on. Next thing I want to do is I want to change our ruler measurements. If I go up here, or just verify, I do not see a ruler on here. So I want to go up to View, and then I'm going to go down to Rulers. Notice there is a shortcut, Command R. I like to have my rulers on pretty much all the time. In the book, they do want us to go to Preferences. It no longer is called Preferences in a Photoshop 2025. It is actually under Settings. And but if you have an earlier version, it might be under that, okay? And we're going to go down here to Units and Rulers, okay? And so our unit rulers is on pixels, and that's what we want. We're just verifying that things are exactly how I want them. Type, meaning font, the size of your font or the type is going to be in points, which is what we want. I'm going to say okay. Another quick way to change the increments would be to right click on your ruler, and you could change that to inches or centimeters or millimeters, points, picas, or percentages, okay? But we do want that on pixels. It's going to be very important for our next move. So the next tool that we're going to look at is the one directly below it. If I click and hold on any of these that have the little rectangle in the lower right-hand corner, you can see that there are other tools underneath. So we are going to click on the rectangular marquee tool. So the rectangular marquee tool is going to allow us to do a selection, okay? And what we are going to want to do with the selection is we are going to want to end up coloring it. So in order to color it, okay, I do need another layer because I do not want to color directly on top of this arch. So I'm going to go down here in my layers panel and I'm going to hit the plus sign. And I am going to create a layer called rectangle. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the upper left-hand corner of my document and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag down and I am going to let this rectangle fit in that first section with that cyan, those cyan guides, okay? You should feel it snap to it and I'm going to drag it all the way down. One of the things that I want you to realize is if I click outside of this and I drag down and I go outside of the art or of the artboard area, it is not going to show that selection because you cannot select something outside of the artboard. Okay, so even if your document or even if an image a minute ago went outside of that, I can't select anything outside of it. So I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna fill it. Okay, so now I need another tool. So I need the paint bucket. So if I look down here, you will not see the paint bucket, but you will see a paint brush, okay, which you could paint with that, or we could go further down and I see a gradient. This right here is my gradient tool. If I hold my left mouse button down, the paint bucket tool is underneath of that. You'll notice that G is the shortcut for that. Okay, even the paint bucket tool. So the next thing I want to do is, now that I have my paint bucket selected, I can see down here that I have a paint bucket here. So I could have selected this and said fill color. Okay, so just different ways of selecting. My fill color that I want is, I do have to look this up, I apologize. We want FF7F00. So right here, I'm going to type in FF7F00. And it's going to be an orange color. And I'm simply going to say OK. And it's going to fill the contents with this color. I'm going to say OK. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect. You can deselect this selection, okay, those running ants, you can see the marquee by hitting Command D, or I could have just clicked outside the artboard. Okay, that also will work. Next thing I want to do is I want to create a blue rectangle. So I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to go over here. And this time I'm going to start in the upper left-hand corner and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag over until my width. See how I can see the size of my rectangle? Currently mine says 652 width. We need 660. So I'm going to go to 660 and then I'm going to go all the way down. So I'm at 670 now, so I got to get to 660 and I let go. Okay? And then this time I'm going to fill it with blue. So I'm going to fill it the exact same way, but I'm going to, as far as doing it the same way, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it, okay? So this time I'm going to go to edit instead of using the contextual bar, and I'm going to go down to fill. And this time I do want to do a color again. So I'm going to click on color. This color is 0053B2. I'm taking this directly out of the book. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to say OK. Now notice over here on my rectangle that both of these are on the same layer. That is exactly what I want. So by filling this, I was able to keep this on the same layer. And I am going to select, deselect, or Command D, or simply click outside of the art area. Okay? Next thing I want to do is I want to change my blending mode because I can't see what's behind here. Blending modes are over here in your layers panel. So layers, right now, by default, all blending modes are on normal. So if I go in here, we have ways to blend it into the background by selecting one of these. we actually want to color it, okay, the color that is inside of that we had colored. So this orange we want to be colored and this blue. So when we choose blending modes, we're going to go all the way towards the bottom and click on color. But I encourage you to kind of hover over each to figure out, and we'll talk more about blending modes later because they are powerful and they are awesome. But play around with it a little bit just so you can kind of see that that allows you to do that, okay? Next thing I want to do is I want to add some text. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab the type tool. Now again, I can hit the T on the keyboard or I can go over here and click T. And that is the type tool. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click, okay? And when I click, it's going to just give me, don't click and drag. Clicking and drag will give you a different kind of type, okay? So we'll talk about that in another chapter as well. But for now, let's just click. So we are going to click and we are going to specify in here that we want some kind of, they use a Brill. Let's see if we even have that. Yep, a Brill fat face regular. So we're going to use that. And we are going to use the regular. Oops, they're doing it from up here. So we're going to do it from our options. Regular and 210. So we're going to do 210. That is the size of it. And color, we want white. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to specify white. I'm going to say okay. And I want it to be centered. Okay. So we did a lot of different things. And the font that we want to type is going to be History 301. All capital letters. Okay, now I could do caps one of two ways. I could turn on my cap locks, or if I had typed it out without it, 301, over here in the layers in the properties panel, I could go over here and I can click the very first type options, and that is going to give us, as long as I have it highlighted, going to give us all capital letters. Okay, now if this is currently not where you want it, which I want it centered, I will go check mark this and go to my move tool. I'm going to hit the V and I'm going to move this to the center. Now, what's nice too, I want you to realize, is you will see these magenta lines showing up. These lines are called smart guides, and they will help you position things on the board. Okay, so as you drag, they will position things. The other thing you can do in order to get things positioned correctly is with the move, I'm on the move tool, I can go up here and I can hit these three dots. This says align to selection. I'm going to align it to canvas for a minute, and then this allows me to align horizontal centers and align vertical centers. Now I know that this is directly centered on the screen. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to choose the type tool again, making sure that we are currently do not have this selected, and we're going to click down near this bottom guide. We're going to click, and we want to make this font this time 165. This, we are going to type the words live stream, and I'm going to highlight all of this because I do not want this font. This time they want the font Acumen Pro Condensed Black. So this one right here. And we do want to go ahead and check mark that. We're going to click on the move tool, and so that it looks something like this. And we can do a right align on this if we wanted to, just in case we need to edit it later. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add an adjustment layer. So over here at the right in the layers panel, we have at the bottom, we have several options. We have a FX, we will talk about that at a later time. And then we have a mask, and then we have a half black, half white circle. That half black, half white circle will allow us to add different adjustment layers. And we do want to do a solid color adjustment layer. It might turn something like black, which is absolutely fine. We're going to add a green layer. So we're going to go and we're going to put in a hex number here of 0C3303. And that is going to give us a dark green. We're going to say OK. Now again, we're going to have the same issue because it is a solid color and it's going to cover up, as far as layers, it is going to cover up the arc, and then the blue and orange are going to be right on top of it. Now, with this layer selected, we are going to change a blending mode. This time though, instead of color, we're going to do hard light. So we're going to click on hard light, and I still feel like it's a little bright. So I'm going to go up here to the right of the blending modes, and we are going to change our opacity down to 90% according to the book. And we could type it in if you can't get it. Sometimes I'm like, it's just easier to type it in. And then that is where we're going to stop for this video.